Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, March 4th, 2016. And hopefully my sound will be better now. So basically I had these two monitors right next to each other for the longest time. And then my microphone was to the left of it. Which means that if I'm looking towards, especially the right monitor, which is where the webcam is, then my face is pointed this direction and the microphone's off in this direction. That's a good 90 degrees, not so good for audio. Hopefully, now that it's between the two monitors, no matter which one I look at, or even the chat up there, the voice will still go roughly in the right direction, and I won't have to buy one that goes on my... Austin Powers. Anyway, that won't go on my face, right? So, starting today... Last time we said that, and of course now it has a problem of the headphone cord going right across my chest, but I'll get used to it. Unless there's a way for me to go for my mouse. Anyway. So now when we build, we're going to enter into the game. And last time we created the basic material and so forth for the chess piece. But now we need to create all the stuff required to place it in the level. Started doing that a bit last night, but you know. It's a very interesting song. Okay, so from here, let's. Well, I'll show you what happens when I place a chess piece. So, right now, when I place a chess piece in the level, it kind of floats wherever it wants to, and there is no way to adjust its actual location. So now let's reload the level so we don't have that kind of reference to the deleted chess piece cluttering it up. So one thing we need to do about that is have some way that when we're in the editor, either by construction or by post-edit change properties, probably post-edit change property, we will need to which one is that? Here it is. So we're going to override post-edit change property, and we're going to do, obviously, update this so that it's... here, and then super on construction, or sorry. Apparently I'm picking up my keyboard a little bit more than it was before, but we'll see. Okay, so now I'm going to look up what post-edit change property actually, what that structure F property change event is. Which means I need to open up my stream Firefox. Oops, I made a mistake here. I shouldn't write struct here. It should just be property change event because I'm just copying it down. That was a silly mistake on my part. Oh, now I'm gonna have some problems when I'm looking at this monitor. Oh, that's gonna be bad. Oh well. I'll just try to look in this direction when I talk. I mean, one solution would be to move my tablet over here and move this monitor over there and have the webcam on top of the tablet, but I think it's a bit too short. Yeah, it'll be running up against the top of the cabinet, so that probably won't work. Unless I lean the tablet forward, it does collapse down a little bit. Don't you love it when they have a listing of the enumerator, and you're like, I'm going to click on to see what's in it. There's nothing. It just tells you what an enumerator is. And it's like, thanks. I know what an enumerator is. I want to know what's in this one. You think that'd be something that'd be very easy to auto-generate, but... so what was it called again? E-change type? E-property change type, sorry. Or they just don't have documentation on it, so in Visual Studio, I'm just going to create an e-property change type. Okay, array add, duplicates, interactive. When dragging a slider. I'm assuming interactive will happen when you not just select a slider. I know I've seen this in documentation somewhere, but I think it was in the answer hub. But also when you drag it through the level as well. So we'll see about that. Okay, how about this? We'll just capture one and see what happens. Log. Let's see where log is. So text, let's do warning. I wish I knew what was the default ones besides warning and error. So if property changed events dot change type equals e property change type interactive. So now when we move these pieces in the level, if we see these start being added to our log, we'll know that, hey, this is happening, right? And why are you complaining? Oh, I wasn't complaining, it just needed an update. Okay. So let's recompile. Hopefully it compiles properly, and then when we compile, we'll see after we compile, we'll place a piece in level, we'll see what happens. So I'll need to get my log up, which should be here. I'll put us in the other monitor over there, but actually need... There we are. Okay, so adding it to the level did not trigger the log, nor did moving it. Let's see if I can move a slider. Okay, yeah, this is causing my enumerator to go crazy, but so we know that it's not an interactive event, which is weird. You think moving through the level would be an interactive event, but apparently not. Let's try value set. Oops. And then we'll do a recompile. Which is going to clear our log, and now we're going to add another one to the level and see what happens. Okay, so we add an actor to the level. This is not triggering post-edit change property. Okay then. However, if we do this, then yeah, it will cause that to change. Okay. So let's reload the level. Don't save. So we know it's not. We know change type is not that. So let's actually see if it's being called at all. Or is it only going to call in construction? Because if it's only call in construction, then that kind of throws a monkey wrench in our plan, right? We'll have to do 2 different values, possibly. One for move, one for, yeah. Yeah, it's not getting called at all. Even when I move in the editor, but if I do, you know, this, of course, it's going to get called. Okay. Let's reload the level. So post-edit change property is not what we need. Okay, so let's look over here. So let's look at actor just in general. Because if something is going to be implemented such that moving it in a level is going to call an event, it's going to be implemented on actor because it would make no sense to implement on any child, because it has to be implemented on all children. And it would make no sense to be above it because above it's not placed in the level. So that would make sense to put it there. So we'll check and see what the actor allows us to do. Are these really delicates? Huh. Yeah, those are delicate variables. Interesting. At least that's what it looks like. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like this is not called on translation. It's to call a translation. You think it'd be stuff I already know, but apparently not. Okay, this looks interesting. Post, edit, move. But basically, they're called when you move an actor or when you change a property on something. We're using that on Fortnite to snap our actors to a grid. Snapping an actor to a grid sounds like something I want to do right now. So let's do that. Okay. So it's post, edit, move we need. So let's go into Visual Studio, which for some reason I was going to click on OBS's preview for that, which wouldn't do anything because that's just a video. Okay, post, edit, move. Oh, and what's the structure called for this thing again? Come on, wake up. Oh, it doesn't actually have a, okay. So that should be good, and then post, edit, move. There should be no struck, it should just be that. And post, edit, move. And then no called. Okay, so now we will go into check it. We will compile. Hopefully it compiles. I see a lot of red lines, but that could just be slow. Nope, she fails. Oh, there's a lot of them. There's enough errors that I need to shut down the engine and see it in the Visual Studio log. So these are not overridable? Okay, so let's a very nice song. Or maybe it's not a void. What's void? Oh. Oh, do I need to return whether it's false or not? I know I already have this up, but... Okay, I need a parameter. Oops. Okay, let's, well, it's almost over here, but let's change the song. Hopefully something a little more happy. Let's try building. There we go. So now when I move the chess piece in the level, it should be smart enough to call this. Okay, and it was called several times. Yeah. Okie dokie. So now we have a hook that works. Let's change it here. So actually, I don't even need this log anymore. So right. So if be finished. So when we finally let go, we're going to do a whatever we called last one. So weird how some. Okay, I was gonna say weird how it didn't actually adjust yet. Okay. So we need a level manager. A level manager. Tile. Now I need to add this here. That's a manager, a level manager. If level manager, so we're checking to make sure that it exists. It should be a loop over 1, by the way, but you know. So if it's not null, then we're going to get the tile nearest location. Tile nearest location. Set actor location. Sorry, if nearest tile. So if the nearest tile actually exists, nearest tile gets actor location. Or sorry, effector. Tile location equals nearest tile get actor location. Tile location dot z equals 0, and then second location tile location. Else. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to f vector current location equals get actor location. And then set actor location. Sorry, current location. Dot z equals 0.f. So we're gonna be, when we drag it around, constraining it to 0 plane. Then we're gonna do set actor location, current location. So we're gonna snap to 0 basically. It's similar to how when you place a object in the level in the regular editor, it snaps to the ground plane. Only thing is, instead of snapping to whatever actor we have, we're just gonna snap to 0 because we know that all of our tiles where we could possibly want a chess piece will be there. So there's no more kind of like looking down and seeing how far down do I want the chess piece to go. It should always snap there. Again, if I did this properly. If not, we could have some problems. But we'll see. Okay, so let's do a build. Hopefully it'll compile. Then I'll delete the rook. Yeah, hopefully it'll compile. And then I will restart the level. And now I'll place a rook in the level, and it's starting there. So it's working similar to how I want. Except that it's going by a sender when I want it to go. So let's see, location didn't set though, so, okay. And now I'll do location equals nearest tile location. Hey Durs, welcome to the chat. Hopefully the audio will be a bit better now that I I changed my microphone position, so hopefully it'll be able to pick up easier. Except when I'm looking at my tablet, but that's, you know. So now I need to find out what the offset is. Sound loud and clear, thank you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a property to these, which will be the offsets. So let's do U property. Edit anywhere, blueprint, read, write, category equals actor settings, and we'll have float. Distance to bottom, or sorry, piece half height. Sure, why not? So now we're gonna go through our not base pawn. Whoops, wrong one. Where is it? Oh, first we want to in piece here have piece half height. We'll set it to pawn by default. And now we will, oh, here's my solution explorer. Open bishop, king, knight, pawn, queen, rook. So now on rook, our half height's 90. When we set it here, it was positive. Yes, we set our half height positive. So in bishop, actually rook, sorry, is negative. So piece half height equals 90. So now for each model, we're modifying what the center location of it is. So if you look at it in the editor, whoops, in the editor. Did I delete it already? Ah, crap, I already did it, didn't I? So I want to get from center down to the bottom here, so I'm going to be registering the half height of the rook and bringing it up, which will also be used to adjust the capsule and so forth, as opposed to manually baking them in here. Now here I'll just replace these, but it's negative 105, so. Let's just add the piece half height first and then copy it through. Six, there we are. There we are. So bang, 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 bang. Copy this. This is overridden. Override this. Override this. Override this. And override this. Now, and the benefit of this is now I can guarantee that if I need something in peace or whatever, I'll have the half height. So we can have target Z location equals piece half height. And then piece half height. And there we are. Now if we compile this and we don't get an error, after we delete the Visual Studio. Sometimes it doesn't always work so well. So now I place a piece in the level. Should hover over sensibly. And snap there, and its location should be set to, in this case, 1817, which should be the location here, 1817. Okay, now all of that's done. Let's start committing it to Git. So cd /Unreal projects, check it, git status. Okay, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff to do. So git add source. The benefits of using PowerShell, you can do this tab completion. Oops. Don't want that. So get status. All we have left is MP space, so git add content. No, there we are. So git commit m implement basic chess piece logic. Okay. Oh, what did I save that? I want to revert that. Oh well. Oops. Okay, so that's all done. So now the location is set properly, so if I drag it onto a tile, it'll just snap to that tile. Now, one thing I want to do is, if the tile is already full, don't allow it. So I just let it float in space until I find one that's closest. So try to think of where I want that logic to be. Do I want to have that helper function of check to see if a chess piece is in a tile? be in level manager, be in the game mode. I can see it being very useful in the game mode, but I don't have access to that in the editor, so if it has to be in that, it'll have to be in level manager as well, so I have access to an editor as well. So bool is tile empty. F int vector coordinate. Okay, so now we will go into level manager. I can actually shut all these down too. Bool a level manager is tile empty. Int vector coordinates. Whoops. All right. What I was trying to do is try to see if there's another instance of Epic choosing whether is uppercase or lowercase. Should be uppercase because it's not a preposition and it's not a Hungarian notation prefix. But whatever. So is tile empty? Array a piece gets all pieces. So now I'll have to get another function for get all pieces. Array a piece a level manager gets all pieces. And instead of looking for pieces or tiles, we'll look for pieces, but let's see if it's already been there. No, I need to include piece. And again, it's not circular dependencies if you do it in the CPP file, assuming you have your header and C++ file separated appropriately. Get all pieces, a piece. Let's not do a reserve. Let's let Epic handle that. A piece. Or was that right? Oh no. So do a piece. Piece. So we're getting all the pieces in the world, adding them to the list, and then returning it. So then T-array, a piece what do I call this here? All pieces. Get all pieces. Hey, so for int I equal, or int32, sorry, I equals 0, I less than all pieces dot num, I plus plus, if all pieces I location equals coordinate, return true, otherwise return false. So what we're saying is we're going through, well, yeah. If a tile is empty, then, oh, should I actually also include whether the tile is, no, let's just have it be whether it's empty. Have that be separate. Bool a level manager is tile active. F int vector coordinate. And then we'll have this here. So now instead of doing this, we're going to loop through all oh, what am I doing here? No, that's right, okay. Yeah, let's actually not copy that. So T or A, because we'll have to do more, change more, and we'll so for int32, I equals 0, I less than all tiles dot num, I plus plus. So we'll just have separate functions. One to check to see if there's any piece already assigned to that tile. Yeah, okay. I was trying to think here of whether I should have this manage a case of coordinates being like negative or out of range, but I'm not gonna bother with that. It'll be up to the implementation to in the future to determine whether the tile is actually even there. Is tile active? Okay. So if all tiles, oops, all tiles I coordinate, or sorry, location equals coordinate. That's good. Okay, so if it's coordinate, then we know we're at the right tile. If all tiles I dot be enabled equals true, or sorry, yeah. I don't need to compare it against something if it's just a Boolean. So if it's enabled, return true. Otherwise, all the way down here, return false. And this way, if this never is called, so if the break. So yeah, I could do break or return false here. It wouldn't matter either way because when I break, it's gonna break out of here and return false. So yeah. Because we're assuming there's only one tile at that location coordinate. If we find it and it's not enabled, then we can immediately just get out of there. Whether we want to return false or break and return false, doesn't matter. But this way I'm going to do it such that there's one return false statement for, even, again, there's no, it really doesn't matter at all. But in this case, it'll be one return false statement if we find the coordinate but it's disabled, and another return false statement if we don't find the coordinate at all. But it really doesn't matter either way, as I said. So let's go back down here. Or where is it again? Piece. So with the nearest tile and level manager. Is active? Is tile active? Oh, what am I doing? I had that functionality, but I don't think I need it because I already have the tile. Oh, I need it for his tile empty, right? And nearest tile be enabled. And level manager is tile empty. Nearest tile location. Okay, so that should work now. We should be able to compile. And this means I should not be able to snap to a tile if it's already been filled. Or I get an error. Oh, undeclared identifier. Okay. Where is that? So level manager 60 here. AP, so I didn't for declare it. Thought I already did. That's good. And then it gave me a couple more errors because if it doesn't know what that is, then I can't do a T-ray and that fails and so forth. Okay, so now in the editor I can grab a rook over here and it snaps. Once again, it wants to snap to the wrong height. Oh, are these initialized to be disabled? No, it's enabled. Oops, no. Oh, crappy. Let's just re-initialize the level. Let's make sure it's not a dead tile somewhere. That was a weird glitch. Don't understand what's going on here. Okay, so let's create a breakpoint. And then let's reload the level. And then we'll have to actually reload this entirely to run with debugging. So now we'll be able to break when it tries to drop something in the level. None is finished. So let's reload the level again. And we will destroy this breakpoint. Okay, let's reload the level once more. Let's disable our breakpoint. Let's drag it into the level. And now we will re-enable our breakpoint. Okay, so here, level manager. Okay, let's start stepping into this nearest tile. Here. Nearest tile is that. Enable true dynamic false. Current piece is null. Okay, so this is not following. So one of these is returning false, so is tile empty. Did I get my is tile empty declarations backwards? Oh, I got them backwards. Is tile occupied. We'll call it is tile occupied. And then in piece is tile occupied, which will tell us not. There we are. Where mouse cursor go? Oh, right, we're kind of locked here. Okay, so let's close this down. Don't save. And then we will try to build. So in build 68, I just didn't have it. Actually, let's check in there. Okay, so it's still the most recent one. So let's try adding it to level, and now it snaps properly. Snap here, it's good. Okay, now it's 1819, now it's 1919, now it's 1920. So let's place a knight here. It's good. Now let's try to place it on the same tile. Still doesn't want to snap until I get close enough to the next tile, in which case it works. Okay. That's good. Okay, so that works. I do not want to save. I want to reset this level again, because I don't want garbage junking up. Okay, so now in, oops, not wrong one, there we are. Get status, get add source, get add source, get add source, get status, get commit m, losing my train of thought here. Disable multiple pieces. Disable adding second piece to tile. Duplicate pieces or extra pieces. To single tile. There we are. So we made it a lot easier for us to place tiles in the level now, instead of going like we did last time, kind of dragging a level and kind of selecting which tile we want. We can now move the piece onto the tile. The editor's mouse movement doesn't really want to deal with that, but... Or how should I say this? In the editor, when I was placing in the level, the camera angle would make it not want to snap in a reasonable area. It typically want to go short because I was aiming at this tile here, but if I was aiming at a point in space closer to it, and then it dropped it immediately down. So instead of, you know, basically like this. So here's a ruler, right? Basically, I want to place it at the bottom part of the ruler, but imagine the editor sees something right at this point in the ruler here. So instead of going all the way down, it says, I'm stopping here. Oh, wait, you want me to go to 0, and it just drops straight down immediately, right? So you end up falling short. But anyway, that's... have to deal with that sometimes, so... Oh, well. It's still better than typing it in manually and trying to think of which coordinates where, and ugh. That was not a fun process. It's a fairly quick process, but not a fun one. Okay, so now I can here, going back to game mode, look over here, we have spawn number. This number is going to be assigned to pieces. I used to have team number and player number. I am just going to have spawn number now. The reason why is because originally it was going to be 1 versus AI. Well, originally at the time I was doing that, it was going to be 1 versus AI or a finite number of teams. But now all I want to do is have a spawn number, so that way the user can adjust the teams ahead of time. So if they want to have, for example, the map where there's 4 spawn points, have 2 teams of 2, they can have the 2 teams of 2 lined up where they're spawning next to each other, or they can have enemies and friends spawn right next to each other, and allies spawn across map, right? You can choose all that, or you can have them disabled or whatever. Since I don't want to deal with that on the map level, I just want to have any given spawn point have a set number of units. I'm just going to assign those units to the spawn number, so that when the game starts, it will compare all the players and all the AIs and their team, like whatever team they are, to whatever spawn number it is, and it'll assign those to that team later on, right? And then I'll also have to deal with pieces that aren't spawned and make them despawn, because, you know, if it's not a player that's active, why should the pieces be there, right? Unless there's an extra flag I add for neutral characters or something like that. Maybe like citizens moving through a town or whatever, if I have some sort of mechanic that would require that. I don't know how that would really be any more useful than just having an extra AI player. I don't know. But I mean, it's something that could be fun. So here we're going to add another property. And this is where we're going to start adding it for check-it settings. So it'll be up here, view property. And it's anywhere, blueprint, read, write, category equals check-it settings. And we're going to have it be int32, spawn number. Again, right now we're not dealing with anything. We're being as open as possible, but we're not going to be dealing with the interface of having one person versus AI or anything like that yet. We're actually going to have just one player and nothing else on the map when we develop these initial chunks of code. So now here, let's compile. Oh, I need to set a default. AP's default. Spawn number equals 0. We'll have that be default. That's not going to vary by the individual types of pieces. That's going to be varied by after they're placed in the editor, me saying I want this to be AI, I want this to be friendly, right? Or I want this to be whatever. Well, based on how I envision the map, that will change based on the player, how they want to set up the individual rounds. Like, I'm going to design levels such that it makes sense for these two spawn points to be a team, these two spawn points to be a team, and I'll have probably, like, in the interface, a way of being like, so when you start this game, these are going to be allied, these are going to be allied. But I'm not going to prevent the player from saying, no, I want these to be not allied. Just because it may be fun for that, right? And it would be a very arbitrary constraint to make people not have fun. So place here, and now spawn number will be spawn 0, we'll say. But if I were to actually make a map, I could have that be spawn 0, and our one be spawn 1. Their color in the editor will change, but that will not reflect the actual gameplay because it'll depend on what this player actually chooses. Actually, here's an interesting thought. Should I allow players to take control of multiple spawn points? Have one home, which will be what's assigned to their player, but have them use secondary kind of, secondary spawn points for extra control, right? Extra pieces and extra initial locations. So instead of having on a 2v2 map, you can have it be a 1v1 where each player controls a player, or each player controls two of the players. It would still be as if they only have one turn, but they'd have a bigger army to choose from. That sounds actually pretty fun. So I'm going to do that. So in game mode, here, note player UI may set multiple spawn number to a player. This will be the main one. Okay, so let's make sure I didn't accidentally bork something up trying to put a comment in. So 1820, 1920, 1620. It's nice when things just work, isn't it? 1612. Delete. Don't save. Get status. Get add source. Get add source. Get add source. Git commit implement spawn number framework or slot. That moment where you're gonna press Control S inside Git, expecting something to happen. Nothing's gonna happen. Okay, so this is going pretty quick, actually, for that. I mean, I've only been going for about an hour, and I've already done what I was planning on doing today. Okay, so next... because I'm not going to be stopping just yet, of course. I'm going to be stopping fairly early today, probably, but not just yet, because that's why I started early. Next, I can work on player start. Player start tag is none. So let's see what I can do with player start tag. Because before what I did is I actually had a special player start that I actually had a custom player start that was attached to the king mesh, and that would be where the player spawns, and any other king in the level would either, well, yeah, I can then place other kings in the level directly, and the team would apply it to either the friendly team or the AI team, depending on which team and player it was. I don't want to do that right now. Well, I don't want to do that ever, because that was crappy, right? That's impossible to do multiplayer, like player versus player, because you'd be baking one for an AI. So if you don't have an AI, like let's say you have a human instead, then you wouldn't be able to deal with it, right? So you're gonna need to have multiple player starts. Now, I did have the option for multiplayer starts in how I made it based on the drop-down menu, but I would probably prefer to do more of what Epic Epic intends, which would be using a default player start unmodified and just using the tag to determine what it is. So that way when the user says, I want this spawn to be this spawn to be that, this spawn to be that, I can then go in the game mode and say, okay, game has started. have this player spawn at this one, have this player spawn at this one, this AI spawn at this one, this AI spawn at this one, go, right? So we'll see about that. Actually, before I do any of that, let's try placing a actor in level, or a thing in the level. And then, actually, is it? Try to see if there's any collision for it. Generate overlap events. Overlap all dynamic, but not block. Okay, so let's see here. So now if I move my camera, I can move my camera now inside the rook, which I need to gloss up a little bit. I think I have its specular material a little too high. Or it's not specular material, it's roughness a little too high. That's good, I can move the camera through it without having collision be an issue. Just want to make sure of that. Actually, before we do that, let's go to materials, piece base, here. So roughness, 0.25. So it looks a bit more goldish. It's obviously hard to tell because you're just dealing with an environment map. There's not really much being reflected in the scene. Although I'm getting some reflections off of the tile. That's actually looking kind of cool. Alright, so let's try a little bit more. I don't remember what I had said originally. This looks a little bit more gold. Probably actually do a little bit less than that, so a little bit higher roughness. Okie dokie. So why did I have it be set to such a high value anyway? Was that what I set the tile base to? Oh, that was. I may want to drop that down once I get a little bit more usage. So I recently learned a little bit more about physically based rendering and how it works. And what the mellowness does. Mellowness is only really useful between at either 0 or 1. In between values are mostly for boundaries, but as an actual material doesn't make sense. It's either mellow or it's not. And the idea behind that is when you have a metal, the actual base color itself doesn't actually have anything to do with the metal. It just deals with reflections. So when you have mellowness at max, the base color becomes the tint of the reflections, basically, and the base color itself gets set down to 0. Whereas when you have a plasticky or something like that object, the reflections become fairly monochrome, not entirely. I think it's 4% or something like that. Or maybe I'm thinking of the actual... I forgot about that. I should probably look it up again. But then the base color is actually applied as the base of the object. So, yeah. It's interesting how you can approximate metals by having it have no color. Having it be a base color black. So I found it kind of interesting. Again, it's kind of a boring level where you don't really see much besides tiles themselves. Let's do an ejection here. Okay, so it is slightly overlapping with the dial. It's hard to tell. I mean, it's not hard to tell from here, but when you're in the actual, when you're using the actual camera, it's hard to tell. When you're using the in-game camera, I should say, it's hard to tell. Let's repossess. Oops, there we are. And let's reload the level so we don't save crap to it. There we are. Success. Oh, did I forget to save? I think I forgot to save the, oh, I didn't, yeah. I forgot to save, but I didn't need that for the, I forgot to save this, but I didn't need a level open for that. It was saved to my actual assets. So now if I go here, git add contents, git commit, make pieces slightly more reflective. I don't know what that means. 95%. Anyway. I'm sure it's nothing. Yeah. Okay, so now how would we implement the player start? So let's go look in the documentation over here. So I'm guessing what it's going to be is it's going to be a string. I can do a string compare on and on game load modify it, but yeah. Okie dokie. So choose player start function. When each player logs in, they spawn a pawn. In the construction script, I have a BP MP pawn ask BP MP game type. Define a player start actor in the level whose player start tag variable isn't set to quote taken. The only variable accessible to a player starts through blueprints, and it seems to be uppercade. Yeah, it would be. I think it would be. That looks fun. I got a feeling I'm going to need to look in the game start actor and see what it does with each player start. Let's actually do that right now. Let's look at game mode. In API documentation, a game mode. Oh, choose best player start. Here it is. So functions. Okay, so choose player start. Right. Cool, Lifeblood. So, Lifeblood just went to Micro Center today. What'd you pick up? What specifically did you pick up, I should say? I think you were looking at Skylake 170, right? Z170? Choose player start. So what I'm probably going to need to do is hook this event by overriding it and look through all player starts for the string that I have attached. Which then means I need to figure out how to format my string such I give all the information I need. Yeah, you're looking at the 679K, yeah. So game mode here. virtual void, choose player start, override. I actually need to have a controller. It's kind of weird. Oh, it's not gonna be void. It's gonna be a actor. So a actor. I'll be looking at the chat just 1 second. Choose player start. A controller player super choose player start player implement selection logic. Okay, there we are. You wouldn't believe what they had in eStore. They have it all. Asked about ROG Swift, Alienware with a 5400 RPM hard drive, Grace Modern Store, such cheap HD. Not following you, so you found a, did you find a, oh sorry, wrong monitor. So did you find a laptop that, oh, the RG Swift was on monitor was on a computer inside an Alienware. Oh. Oh, actually, I don't want to do super. This might be one of the only times I want to nullify upstream logic. I'm not sure, so we'll check. Okay, I'm not gonna repeat that, but yeah. Lifeblood was talking about having the ROG Swift on such a cheap monitor, and talking to a salesperson about like, why do you have this monitor on such a cheap computer? Why have this monitor on such a cheap computer hard drive? Yeah. So it doesn't let me to override it, but why not? They don't know how to justify the 160 hertz monitor. Yeah, yeah, I'm not sure if the hard drive itself would really matter that much for it, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely a very fast monitor. I'm actually not even sure what my the site I work for is a computer website. I'm not even sure what our current favorite monitor is yet. I'm actually using a fairly old BenQ, and a even older Samsung, and well, when it comes to Teaks, not old. And I also have an LG 1650, or sorry, 1680 by 1050. I think it was the resolution. They didn't have any games for it either. Okay, so yeah, that's a problem when you're trying to advertise an awesome gaming monitor without showing it off. I think a Swift could also do G-Sync as well, right? So having it attached to a... actually, I should check on that. Let's look at the ROG Swift. That's not the right one. You're looking at the 166 hertz one. There's so many ROG Swifts. Or is there only just one? No, I think there's multiple. Play one game. Oh, 279. The other one was no, it's 279. Oh, it was the other one. So the other one before that was 278Q. You asked about 120 hertz refresh rates, and they showed you a monitor or a laptop, so you left. And I'm having some connection issues, but it looks like it's just the web. It's not the stream. Okay, tweet me the PC part picker link. That'll be cool. You start by creating your own player start and add a variable a boolean, and it allows disable spawning or float if you want to get fancy and like a little timer. In C++, calls choose player start, loop through all the start points, and ignore the start points that have in use or are not available depending on the state variably added, locking it, change the state. Okay. So basically what I'm going to need is a custom player controller, which I obviously have. And from there, the user interface somehow is going to assign this a default spawn number, and then choose player start here. We'll know to use that. Now I need to know how to, at some point, get the player controller in okay, so it's probably gonna be a little bit of research involved. I tried extending old player starts and didn't exactly work for me. I'll close down this thing as well. Oh, here it's back now. Yeah, 165 with G-Sync. I think it actually was required to unlock it by overclocking. I think this is the monitor where you'd actually have to go into the setting and say, I want to overclock the monitor to 165. Yeah. So choose player start. Oh, hey, oh, okay. We got about 15 minutes. Well, we're at about an hour 45 right now, so we'll probably do about 15 minutes or so of this. So either through all start points, ignore start points that are in use or not available, depending on whatever variable you added, blah blah blah. But I'm going to use the state here. Oops. I'm just going to use default player starts. And I'm going to use a state here with a start player tag. Let's actually look here for for API player start. That's weird, doesn't list player start tag. Okay, so I think that the key right now is that in game mode, I'm going to have to figure out what each player will be. So I'm gonna the key I think will be trying to find a way to have the interface in the previous level, the map, the previous level, the interface itself, to assign any given connection to a specific spawn number, and then the rest for AIs, and spawn all of those as needed. That'll be interesting to try to figure out. Okay, so that's not gonna be fun. So the issue will be finding a way to transfer from the interface to the game. So when you launch the game, you launch into the interface, and the interface starts the game as necessary. That's going to be a task and a half. Probably be better to not do this player start until we do that. However, we may want to do that ASAP. Which means we're going to be doing the interface a lot sooner than I realized. Which is good. It'll be kind of a bit of a change for people, but yeah. Well, I could either do the interface, assemble the player starts, and do all that stuff properly, or I can do the movement mechanics first without an AI, without any other player in the map. I'm thinking actually the interface would be easier to do because I'm thinking that the interface will rely less on the gameplay mechanics and the gameplay mechanics will rely on the interface. Because when I choose the interface, I'll have to choose how to select a player, an AI, or none, or whatever. And that will control how I control turns, and that will control how I make moves. So I'm assuming I need to do the... I'm thinking I'm going to need to do the user interface first. Okay, so let's reload the level. So now we have all that stuff we need to select various things, move around. I can place objects in the level. I can assign spawn numbers, but I can't assign teams or player numbers yet because that's going to be parented from the interface. The interface is going to give me a dump of all the players, who controls them, if they're controlled by a human, if not their AI, and where they are. And it'll be up to the in-game to handle that. So yeah, what I need to do is to work on the interface. It's now 1:55. I don't really want to start the user interface and that sort of stuff in 5 minutes, so I'll open up for questions, even though there's only one person left in the chat. And stirs. So probably next time, if I remember to do this correctly, we'll start working on the interface, which will be a login screen, basically. No questions, okay. So in order for us to do that, we're going to need to have a player controller that works in menus. We're going to need a very simple, ugly-looking set of buttons and stuff like that. So we're going to be doing a lot of blueprints, probably. And we're also going to need a level that you can see in the background. Otherwise, you're just going to look into hall mirrors. Actually, not hall mirrors. It's just black. I'm going to say hall mirrors, but that's not how modern game engines work anymore. That would be the case in, like, Unreal Tournament 1. Maybe 2004 too. Anyway. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.